couple of days ago, I got access to a tool called Manus. Now, Manus is a new agent that's kind of taking the internet by storm right now. And I wanted to run through exactly what it is today and how I've been using it to do some knowledge work / documentation and courses for Synthflow. So first up, let's go into exactly what Manus is. Manus is a general AI agent that bridges minds and actions. It doesn't just think, it delivers results. Manus excels at various tasks in work and life. So basically what this means is we're used to a ChatGPT sort of interface, which kind of lets you write something in the text box, get some return out of file, but it doesn't really do it on its own. What Manus does is you give it a prompt and it will just go away and figure it out. It will spin up its own virtual environment, its own kind of virtual computer, and then execute code, do research, create files, anything that it kind of needs to do just to get the job done. So you can see here, we've got some use cases on the gallery. We've got some featured ones like plan a trip to Japan, deeply analyze Tesla stocks, an interactive course, etc. But what we're kind of interested to do at Synthflow is, can it create some learning materials for people to be able to build better voice assistants or produce maybe some technical documentation about how to use the API, etc. Or another one, maybe produce like a in-depth report on the status of voice AI or a good resource for people to download and read. So we're going to do that in a sec. But yeah, this is the main Manus site. This is the benchmarks. If anybody's interested in that, it is state of the art, pretty much. It's good. So once you get access, you're going to see this. Now, this is the main Manus interface that you'll see. And we've got a couple of tasks running here. We've got one, which is writing a report on the conversational voice AI assistants and the key players in its future. So if you scroll all the way up, this is the prompt that I gave it. And bearing in mind, all of the actions that you see in the middle here is just going and doing fully autonomously. So the prompt is, write an in-depth research report covering all the key players in the conversational voice assistants so that can make and take phone calls, look into the different types of companies, startup technologies, and present a case about where they will go in the next 5 years. And then you can see Manus replies saying this: I'll help create an in-depth report. I'll cover what we want to cover. This will require gathering comprehensive information through multiple sources, analyzing trends. So we can see now that it goes off, it creates a research outline, it creates a plan, and then it does some commands, creates some files. So spins up a virtual environment, creates some files, and then carries on doing its research, searching for key players, creates another file again. So it kind of goes through all these stages. And what this does, this just goes off. So remember, this is in the browser. Manus is operating on a virtual machine or a virtual environment. So you can go on, carry on your work, and Manus will just keep on working. It's kind of crazy. So let's scroll forward in time, and you can see again, researching companies, researching startups, creating files, current technologies. Then it gives you an update here. I've made significant progress on your research report about conversational voice AI assistants. Now, this has taken maybe an hour or so, a couple of hours. It's gathering market data, it's analyzing trends, it's researching opportunities. And as we keep scrolling down, we're actually going to catch up to Manus now. And at the bottom here, it kind of got stuck. So Manus sometimes does get stuck on certain tasks. So it actually got stuck on compiling all the files into one. Now, if we look at the files up at the top here, you can see it's created a large number of files. We've got everything that we need, and it's having a bit of an issue, or it got stuck with compiling these into one report. So I said, can we try and compile this report another way? Yes, I'd be happy to compile the report in a different way. Instead of combining all the sections to a single doc, I can create a Manus page that will provide a more interactive and visually appealing format. Now you can see down here, it's actually thinking, and you can see it's currently taking an action. So what we can do here is actually open up this at the bottom, and you can see its task progress. So it's 17 out of 20 tasks done so far. You can see it's using the editor now, and it's creating an MDX file for interactive Manus page. If we click into here, we can actually view the computer that Manus is using. Click it open, and you can see that it's on this page now. But what you might also notice is that down here, we've got a live toggle and a scroll bar. So I set this to work 18 hours ago, I think, or no, this was actually one of the first ones I ran. So it's actually been running for 41 hours, but it's got stuck. So a large chunk of that was just getting stuck without me prompting it. If we scroll back in time, you can see what it's done. So I'm just going to toggle through this and you can see some of the research it's done. We've got the first outline. We've got the progress tracking. It wrote a to-do list to track everything it's done. Does some research, searching Google Duplex, writes some notes on it. And this goes over and over. Researches Siri, Amazon, Voice AI Analytics, Dialpad, Replicant. And you can see it keeps on going, researching and researching, compiling and compiling, completing all these files and bringing all of that information back into the task of what we asked it. So skipping forward, we can see here, we've got some of these tasks being done. So at this point, a few hours in, we've seen these research phase being completed. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 of these checklists completed so far. And if we keep scrolling through, you can see it's just doing the same. Lots of research, updating, compiling. And then we get down to the writing phase, draft the introduction section. So if we go back, we might see that it's just drafted the future trends section. Let's just skip back here. Future trends. We can actually dive into this full markdown file. Here we go. So one is advanced biometric capabilities to verify user identity through voice patterns. Nice. Multi-factor authentication, anomaly detection. If you scroll down a little bit more, we've got the timeline, multi-step process automation with decision making. So it's pretty good. This is quite a good section too. Emotionally aware AI. We've seen this with Hume and other products. We can see future voice systems will detect and respond to emotional states, creating more empathetic, effective voice interactions. We've got no code solutions. So what I actually might do here is once this research has been compiled, I might actually go back into this and give it another message, because you can do that. I could give it a list, say, this report seems really good. Can we include something like Synthflow, or we could give it a list of the companies you want to cover rather than just letting it scour the web and pull in anyone's. You can give it a list of companies that will go and research them, you can compare them, etc. So if you wanted to get more granular, you can do that too. So that's one task. Again, I showed the files here. There's also this tab here called high effort. Now, you may have seen that, you may have not, but if we go into a new session, this is what it's going to look like. And you can see you can choose standard or high effort. Now, the high effort employs a longer chain of thought and produces a more detailed task breakdown that requires more processing time during the experimental period. This mode is limited to 1 use per day. Okay, I think they've just added that. Standard provides an optimal balance between quality and speed for everyday tasks. Very good. This is actually in beta right now, so it's not open to the public, but you can do similar things to attach files also. Let's go back into another use case which we did, and let's have a look. An interactive course for voice AI in the medical niche with high effort. So this is a pretty niche one, but let's cover exactly what's going on here, and let's go through the timeline of how Manus is actually going ahead and completing this task. If we look, we'll scroll to the end first, we'll see the outcome. The outcome is we have got a complete course package from 1 through to 10, including navigation headers, technical content, code examples, best practices for compliance, and practical exercises, and an implementation guidance. They've packaged it up into a zip file, and it's focused on exactly what we want. Kind of crazy. Looking at the files, we've got these. Yesterday, we've created these files. Today, we've created these files. We have a README file, navigation, a zip file containing everything. If we look at the README, this is a write-up of everything with links to each file too. Okay. If we scroll up, this is going to be the prompt I gave it. So this is a high effort one. So this is a bit more in depth, it's a bit more context, and it uses more processing power on the Manus side. So I said, I want you to build a highly interactive course for a conversational voice AI assistant company. I work for Synthflow. The course should be B2B focused on building voice AI assistants for the medical niche. And then you say, I want this. I want the course to be technical using the Synthflow API and the API documentation from here. I give it the links. This interactive course should guide potential B2B medical clients through the entire implementation of creating and deploying to assistants. What I also did is I gave a sample prompt from our Synthflow template so it knew exactly how I like to structure our prompts, and then it can go and create a similar one. So I'm just going to scroll past this prompt down to the end, past the knowledge base. And the final command I gave Manus was, if we want to do an example build that require a medical CRM, let's use OpenEMR and its API docs found here. This is basically like an open source medical patient record CRM, EMS, whatever it's called, EMR. And its GitHub repo is found here and its API docs are found here. So it knows the links, it knows where to go to get the information, and it can bring that back in and start to use that in the content that it creates. Wild. Amazing. So we have a response from Manus. We're not going to read into it because we did that before, but you can read. It's doing the knowledge, it's going to the documents, it's clicking around. So you can see it's clicking through the documentation, doing its research, and then it starts compiling it. Now, this was a long task. This took maybe, probably think a day. I think you got stuck too. So it probably took a working day. It did the outline. If I scroll down, you can see it's creating all the files. Here we go, module 8. It starts in a weird order too. So it created 3, 4, 6, and 8. And then at the end, I had to prompt it to say, we need to do the others. So if you scroll down, we're going to see some of the results. All the files. Let's click this. Let's go into an example for API fundamentals. So we have this, we have a preview, we have code in Markdown. If you scroll down, you can see how long this is. We've got all our API docs, retrieving assistance, updating assistance, prompts, custom actions, assigning actions to an assistant. This is something that you'd pay like a technical writer, I don't know, tens of thousands of dollars to do. Keep scrolling down, you can see we've got specific calls on patient verification actions. And bearing in mind, this is all compiled as part of a larger course, so it all comes together. Keep scrolling down, performance optimization, monitoring and logging. Then we got some practical exercises. Create a healthcare receptionist assistant, and here's the code for it. Create a reminder assistant. Here's the code for it. Using all the API docs that you got given. In the end, it gives you a nice summary. So that's another example of what Manus can do. It can build educational, technical content and write all the documentation for you in Markdown, which you can then embed on your site in your API docs. It's freaking awesome. Okay, so there are some more wild use cases. People have been using it to build games, to build Tesla reports of stock analysis. You can do email. So if I wanted to do something like this, for instance, let's actually try one. Can you create a new session? Let's make this an internal email for our team members. So this could be an email that keeps your team up to date on like competitor analysis, what everyone else is doing. If you want to do that, if you focus on your own thing, good. But yeah, this is a question we choose in standard model. Let's go ahead and see what it's got. You can see now also we've had a notification on the left hand side. We've got a update. So we've, okay, 2 minutes ago. Manus, I've compiled your in-depth research report on conversational voice AI assistants and can make and take phone calls. This report covers all the key players in the market, different types of companies and startups, current technologies and future trends over the next 5 years. Thank you. The report includes this. These are the analysis of key players. If you wanted to get specific on it, you can actually give it the people you want to cover. But let's have a look to see what it looks like. Conversational voice assistants for phone calls, market analysis and future outlook. So this actually report might not cover the companies we want, we didn't specify, but it looks good. We've got introduction, market overview, scope and purpose, key players, Google Duplex, Amazon, Alexa, Microsoft, Azure Communication Services. Remember, this is like enterprise B2B focus. So specialized voice AI companies, Replicant, Dialpad, Unifone. Should have probably specified Synthflow in this, to be honest. Emerging startups, Deepgram, Descript, Gara, Skit AI, market dynamics and the competitive landscape, platform versus specialist, horizontal versus vertical, build versus buy, data advantage dynamics, consolidating trends. Oh my God, okay, we're like a third of the way through this report. We've got core technology components in here, natural language processing, intent recognition, recent advantages. Okay, this report is nuts. So text to speech, dialogue management, integration technologies, voice, PSTN, call control, audio processing. So it's really in depth. You're getting, actually, if you read this, you get a really good review on all the technological aspects. We've got cloud versus edge, specialized versus general purpose, technical challenge and limitations, cultural nuances, implicit references, complex reasoning. It's done a really good job. This is a high effort task, by the way. So this is maybe like 8,000 words, I guess. Again, it's going to disrupt a lot of things. If you're using this to build things or create valuable materials, it's going to be a good shout. So future trends in conversational voice AI assistants, ethical AI, deep fakes, domain-specific intelligence, autonomous AI agents. So let's keep scrolling through. You get the picture. This is a really comprehensive report. Opportunities in conversational voice assistants. Opportunities for entrepreneurs. Amazing. Conclusion, for the future of conversational voice assistants for phone calls. So probably one thing I'd improve on this is the companies that I wanted to give it. So let's say I wanted to cover some specific companies. I might actually just say to Manus after this video is, let me just update this report, pulling details from these 15 companies, or maybe we could give it something like a voice AI market map from a VC, and it could extract the companies and then include those companies in this report. So that was a couple of Synthflow use cases. We had the interactive course, we had the in-depth report. We are doing another version of a long report, which is the impact of conversational voice AI on customer experience, which should be finished soon. I just asked it to compile it in another way. So that should be done in a bit. And let's just check in on our newsletter. So it's already started, spun up an environment. Let's see where it is. It's looking at news. Let's go to here. It's compiling some info using XAI, using Grok's language model, Tesla's Grok notes. One thing I might actually want to do is put a newsletter in, which I think is good, and dump it in, and we'll see how Manus updates it in real time. This is the newsletter, voice AI newsletter from David at Crisp, and this is really good. So we want some of this info in here. So let's go back to Manus and say, I really like this newsletter. I don't know why I'm typing. It's so slow. I really like this newsletter as a good source of recent news and information. Could you look here and use it as a source for our newsletter too, please? Thanks. Let's add that in, and we're going to see Manus reply to this and give us a answer back. Here we go. Yeah, I'll definitely include the voice AI newsletter by Chris as a source for our newsletter. It looks an excellent resource for recent voice AI news and information. From there into our research. Thank you for sharing this valuable resource. If you go here, you can see it's now using the browser. So it's got a bunch of materials. It's looking at DeepGram. It's getting Nova 3. It's encountered some errors. So now it's trying to fix it. But yeah, I think that's pretty much it from in terms of Manus. Let's see if there's any functionality we haven't checked. Oh yeah, that's it. Knowledge base. So Manus actually has a not self-updating, self-recommending knowledge base. So if you think that there's some knowledge that you should add into your knowledge base, it will do something like this. When researching or compiling newsletters about voice AI technology, do this. So the user prefers to include content from voice AI newsletter by Crisp AI with a link as a source when compiling information about voice AI technology and industry developments. That's so correct. Then you can view all your knowledge if you want to, and you can see that it adds this. Add more links in there too, and each time you want to ask it a question about voice AI or create any materials, it will go ahead and bring those in. So check it back in with the assistant. It's trying to fix this error. It's now looking at DeepGram Nova 3 medical AI transcription. It's writing some notes. It's using some sources, and then that's going to bring it back into our newsletter when this one finishes. So if you can get an invite to Manus, depending on when you're watching this video, it might have already been rolled out of public beta or alpha or whatever they're in, kind of private beta at the moment. Give it a try. See what you can produce with it. Give it some really out there prompts for like presentations, ask it to build you an app, a website, write you code, write a big report, create a business, identify opportunities for businesses. But here at Synthflow, we're going to use it to create much better learning materials for you or for anybody that wants to build voice assistants. We're going to make sure we're on top of it all through detailed technical documents, technical writing, tutorials, etc. So hope you enjoyed this video. This was a bit of a longer one from us, but I will catch you on the next one, and let me know in the comments what you're going to use Manus for. Super cool. Bye.